Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek Lemaster.
This is Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and Derek timidly announces his presence. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Oh, that bad, Derek.
Derek,
huh?
not so good.
Yeah, you know.
What's
I
going
had a
on,
bad
man? You want to talk
taco.
about it? Oh,
Yeah, I had a bad
you know what?
taco.
I
And
had
I mean-
bad Jimmy John's, and I felt terrible
Wow.
all day.
I've actually felt pretty good. I lied about the burrito, but I have started eating better, and now I feel great.
Well,
Oh.
I ate a sub and felt fine until I was about to leave work, and then I was like, oh, I feel terrible. And then all night I've just been not feeling great. But I mean, I feel good. My stomach just keeps flipping and flopping on me, doing like the
Must have
witch's
been the
brew,
mayo.
where it'll bubble like a cauldron.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't want to eat that again. Luckily, I had a free sandwich. Bastards, they knew it.
Like, we'll get him.
They gave you the
Well-
nasty patty.
Yep, sure did. So, guys, we got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to get a little sexy tonight. X-rated, like D-Generation X. Suck it! But before we do any of that stuff, we got to hit up the horror news. And I've got a decent little slate here. I'm going to start with this news just for you, Derek. There's actually two pieces of news that I feel like are tailor-made for you. But we'll talk about this one because we got some more casting news for Smile 2, A Slight Frown.
Yes. I knew they'd come around.
They did not. It's still just called Smile 2. But we got some new casting news. We have Raul Castillo and Miles Gutierrez Riley have signed on. You'll know Raul Castillo from Army of the Dead. He is the dude with the blonde hair in Army of the Dead. But this movie's clicking along, and it's scheduled to hit theaters in October of this year. What do you guys think? We had a lot of thoughts about Smile. We didn't know if we liked it.
Dude, I liked it till the last 5 minutes. Then they ruined it.
Yeah, and I mean, we just didn't understand the internal logic of the movie. That was also a problem, I think, for us. We didn't understand the rules.
Yeah.
You know, it was like they ate a Jimmy John sandwich and they were good to go. And then the last 5 minutes just shit themselves.
Cauldron belly.
Yep.
Yep. Happens.
That's what I liken
you're right.
it to.
No, I mean, we likened it to The Ring Light, I think is what we ended up saying about it. But I'll give it the sequel a chance. As long as they don't call it A Slight Frown, I think I'm in.
I feel
If
like
they
you're
did-
just against me.
If they did, I would be so excited, though.
And we'd be getting some of
Lydia,
those royalties,
so
baby.
would I.
Yeah.
We're like, we know you stole this idea from us because it's a terrible fucking title. So
I thought we were friends, man. How you gonna do that to me?
we are the best of friends. Derek, this next piece of news is for you too, because we got ourselves. It's kind of for you too, Lydia, because we got another Ari Aster. It's an Ari Aster produced film. He didn't direct this one, but it is a movie called Sasquatch Sunset.
I was just thinking to myself, there's not enough Bigfoot movies out there. So
It's a mysterious new feature from David and Nathan Zellner, who did The Treasure Hunter in such. But the movie, you guys, stars Riley Knopf and Jesse Eisenberg as Sasquatches, I do believe, in the misty forest of North America. A family of Sasquatches, possibly the last of their kind, embark on an absurdist, epic, hilarious, and ultimately poignant journey over the course of 1 year. These shaggy and noble giants fight for survival as they find themselves on a collision course with their ever-changing world around them. So interesting, right?
I love it. I love the idea.
Yeah.
And I've got a picture for you guys.
Oh
Here's
no.
one of the
Okay,
Sasquatches.
this might be the deal breaker here. Oh,
Oh man.
that looks like
What
a
do you think?
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
And
game.
then there's the poster is actually pretty cute.
Aw.
Oh.
You know what they should have done? Harry and the Hendersons sequel.
Oh yes.
Well, I think
They
that
had a sequel.
No, they did not, Lydia.
They didn't.
Did they?
no, I don't think
Wasn't
so.
there one with like a baby? There was like a baby Sasquatch.
All right, now I'm gonna Google this. I don't know.
Yeah, there was like a baby one in the second one. I forget what it was called.
There are. It is a direct to DVD one from called well, let's see.
It was like Littlefoot or something. I don't know.
No, this is the TV
Baby.
series. They have a TV series of something here. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is from a TV series. So no, they don't have a second one.
Really?
They just have Harry and the Hendersons.
Is there there must be something that I'm remembering.
There is
from
a
my
TV
childhood.
series. There is a TV series of
Huh.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Huh.
Yep,
It
I
was a
did not
sitcom.
even know that.
Really? I think that's probably what you're thinking of, Lydia. The sitcom.
I
There's a sitcom.
definitely remember seeing like a baby Sasquatch movie. I don't know. I guess I thought it was like Harry and the Hendersons when I was little.
Yeah, there was a sitcom that was out called just Harry
It's
and the
called Harry
Hendersons.
and the Hendersons. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, that it aired for 2 years.
Yep. It had a series
How
finale
many
even.
episodes? What? Consider my mind blown. 72 episodes.
Yep.
Man, I know what I'm binge watching the next time I get an opportunity to binge watch.
You're gonna make it through.
stuff.
You're gonna make it through one episode, and then you're gonna say, "This is nowhere near as good as the movie." And
I
you're
mean,
gonna
it
tap out.
won't be, but it's still I can't. Man, now I'm gonna set Clark down. He's gonna watch Harry and the Hendersons.
There you go. You know what else you should get him
I
to
love
watch?
that
Star
movie.
Wars. Should have him watch Star Wars
Ooh.
soon.
We'll
because
get there. We'll get
Star
there.
Wars is. We all know Star Wars is one of the best movies ever made, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't
I
care who
mean-
says different.
Could not be a better thing to get into than
No.
Star Wars.
I agree. Guys, radio
Okay,
silence.
so I just googled
go
it
ahead.
though, and there is a Little Bigfoot. I think is what
No, there is a Little Bigfoot movie. That is right.
Yes, Little Bigfoot,
Interesting.
and it is freaky. I can't screen share it with you, but
Little Bigfoot. Let's see. Oh my God, Derek, I'm going to share this with you so everybody can see this. So our lovely viewers can also watch this Little Bigfoot thing. You ready? Look
Let's
at
see
this
it.
thing.
Ugh.
Good Lord, that thing is
Look at
fucking terrifying.
Dude, I if they marketed that to children, that was a mistake.
Look,
I definitely
at
saw
him,
it when I
Derek.
was a kid.
The flip.
it's terrible.
We're gonna scare all the children in the world.
Yeah,
Little
that's pretty
Bigfoot.
terrifying. All right, now back on topic. Radio
Star Wars.
silence. Yeah, Star Wars. Radio silence. Remember, they're directing a vampire movie, Abigail. And it has been rated R for strong, bloody violence and gore. And it's coming out on April 19th. And
What
it
are they?
stars
Wait. What was the title?
Abigail. There has a
Okay.
trailer out, which I have not yet watched. But it's like looks good. The synopsis is after a group of would-be criminals kidnap the 12-year-old ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure, all they have to do is collect a $50 million ransom, is watch the girl overnight. In an isolated mansion, the captors start to dwindle one by one, and they discover, to their mounting horror, they are locked inside with no normal little girl. Ooh. That sounds fun, right? You're
Yeah.
muted, Derek.
Oh.
You guys don't know. I was just mouthing. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Sure. What were you saying?
it's my story.
What were you saying when you were mouthing, Derek?
Oh, I don't even remember. It was probably like, sounds fun.
Oh,
Sounds
okay.
interesting.
It does. Did you guys see the Super Bowl commercial for the new Twister movie?
Mhm.
No.
Twisters, Lydia?
Twisters.
Is
Great.
Helen Hunt gonna be in there?
I don't know. But it's definitely set in the same world because they have the same, tracking systems. So
Yeah, I did
Nice.
notice that.
the plot is Kate
Dorothy.
Cooper. Yep. Kate Cooper, a former storm chaser haunted by a devastating encounter with a tornado during her college years, who now studies storm patterns on screens safely in New York. She is lured back to the open plains by her friend Javi to test a groundbreaking new tracking system. There, she crosses paths with Tyler Owens, the charming and reckless social media superstar who thrives on posting his storm chasing adventures with his raucous crew. The more dangerous, the better. As storm season intensifies, terrifying phenomena never seen before are unleashed, and Kate and Tyler and their competing teams find themselves squarely in the paths of multiple storm systems converging over central Oklahoma in the fight for their lives. It looks good, looks fun. We don't know if anybody is going to make a. I would imagine that if Helen Hunt is in it, that they're saving her in marketing. But
Yeah.
It looked pretty fun, right, Derek?
Yeah, no, it really did.
Comes out July 19th. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
maybe it was a previous like a script, but I thought I remember hearing a rumor that the main character that she was going to be the daughter of the two.
Originally,
but it
that was
like
a plan. Yeah, originally I think that was the plan. Then it was reworked and rewritten. But
that'd have been a good movie too, I think.
But this thing
can't wait to see this
stars
one.
stars Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick, who is phenomenal. I love that guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, you should. It's freaking awesome. It's like
I've still not
modern day
seen it.
Star Wars, I would say.
Exactly. I love that movie. It's a classic.
So good.
Renowned classic.
So this is interesting. Ewan McGregor joins Anne Hathaway in It Follows director's mysterious IMAX thrill ride.
Ooh.
Yes. So we don't know much about this except that the director of It Follows, David Robert Mitchell, is directing a movie from his own script, and it's produced by J.J. Abrams, and it stars Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. I am 100% in. Here's my ticket, sir. What do you guys think?
Yep. Ditto.
Sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I love all those people involved.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway's great. Ewan McGregor's always great. And Thrill Ride. Do you guys remember? We'll do a podcast on it eventually, but Joyride is a lot of fun. That's a fun movie, I think.
Joyride?
Joyride is a good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. I wonder if it's anything like this. We won't know, I guess. And then finally, this last piece of news, guys. Michael Chavez is directing The Conjuring 4, which is planned to be the final installment in the main series. So
that's sad.
Plot details are being kept under wraps, but it's, we know that Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are expected to return. Now, who knows if it's going to be the last one? They don't seem like they want to quit playing these characters anytime soon, to be honest. So as long as the movies keep making money and they're still happy to do it, I think they'll continue to do them. But we are definitely getting a fourth Conjuring movie, and we have a director lined up.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Good news, right?
Yeah. I wish they would
we
pump one of those things out like every couple of years because it's been too long.
Well, the latest one we haven't reviewed yet on the podcast, and it's definitely the weakest of all three of the main series, I think.
Yeah.
I would agree with that too.
And that wraps up this edition of Horror News. I mean, we're all excited for Conjuring 4, right? I mean, we love those
Yeah.
movies.
Oh yeah.
They're fun. We have to hit back into those. We haven't hit any of the spin-offs yet. We haven't done Annabelle. We haven't done the Nuns. We haven't done well, basically those are it, aren't they? Annabelle and the Nuns.
So far, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, kind of. So, guys, tonight we're talking about Ty West's 2022 film, X. This film is rated X. So this is the first time all of us have seen this, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. What'd you guys know about this movie going in?
Not much.
0.
Not much. I
Yeah.
know that the character Pearl was a really hot Halloween costume this year, so that
Yeah.
kind of confused me.
It confused me a little as well. Until I realized that Pearl was a prequel to this movie. And then I was like, oh, okay, got it now. Gotcha. I knew that Mia Goth was in it. I knew that Jenna Ortega was in it, and I knew kind of basically the rough plot, you know. And by that I mean I knew it was about a group of filmmakers getting together to shoot an adult film in a cabin. But I didn't know anything about like whose cabin it was. I didn't know who the villains were. I just knew nothing about this thing except that basic plot outline. And so knowing that there was 3 of these, and then knowing about that one of them's Pearl, which is a sequel, I was confused starting it off because I was like, so I don't know what's going. There's Mia Goth. I don't understand any of this. And then we get into it, and you know, it just this movie goes places. It goes places. Where do you guys want to start?
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter. I will say, let's talk about the cinematography first because I think it's really well shot. I think it's a gorgeous movie to look at. Actually, one of my favorite bits is the opening shot when we first open and we see the, you know, out through the barn doors, but it looks like it's shot in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And then we push through and realize it's because we were in the doors of the barn, which is fucking awesome. That
was really cool.
I'm good with that. That's cool. I'm in at least. Got my attention. What do you guys think? Cinematography.
Yeah. There's a lot of shots in here that I really liked.
No, I agree. I was genuinely impressed with this movie because I do think the cinematography was great. I thought they captured the time period really well.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I also think that he did a really great job. I know. I was -4.
Yeah.
But they did a really great job with the suspense in this movie. There's a couple of moments in this movie where you're just like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And what's great is the setup of it because, like I said, we only know the base. I only went in knowing just the basic setup, which is I knew it was a slasher movie, and I knew that, you know, it was this. But what's really fascinating is the first half of this movie, almost exactly the first half. We just have some suspense scenes setting stuff up, but we kind of are in just these people's world and experiencing their like life, you know, them shooting this porno, which is kind of a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed just spending time with. What'd you guys think? I enjoyed spending time with these characters.
Yeah, the characters were interesting for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it was just a very diverse cast as well. And I mean, that was an interesting plot point. To make a porno, which they had a vision, right? They're going to make this because this is just like the opening of the direct to consumer market for videos, and so they're like, trying to make an artsy or a more film like porno, and that's a really great setup for this.
Yeah, so for backstory, for people that don't know, this is the start of home video. 1979 was kind of the birth around that area. The late 70s, early 80s was the birth of home video as a medium. And around in the 60s through the 70s, actually through the 80s, especially in the late 70s, the X rating, the reason the movie's called X is multiple reasons. It's a porn, they're shooting a porno, which is X. Maxine has an X in her name. She has the X factor. We mentioned that multiple times in the movie. But they use the X was not copyright, or was not trademarkable. So anybody, you could release your movie unrated and rate it X and still get it played in theaters at that time, because they did it. So the movies that were rated X originally were things like Midnight Cowboy. You know what I mean? Like these serious dramas that have like more overt adult tones that are just too much for the censors to give them. I guess the MPAA, but let's call them what they are, censors, to cut down to an R rating. So then porn directors realized we can release these movies as X-rated and show them in theaters, the same theaters that you can watch these other movies in. So this was an untapped market in 1979. That's why he's like, we're going to make so much money, man. We're going to see things that's going to just blow their minds. And now you like get on the internet and you're just like, I see things I don't want to see. Tip of my fingers. But yeah, you're right. It is an interesting setup because we get the whole, the making a movie trope, just scrappy filmmakers making a thing. But what's funny is the only real filmmaker is the director guy, RJ, who is trying to he's like, you got to start somewhere. He's trying to like make this artful porn, while old Wayne is owns a strip club, and he just gets two of his strippers. One of them is his fiance, and the other one's his like, best stripper, and is like, hey, we get this other guy, and we're just gonna make a porno. I'm gonna call it The Farmer's Daughter.
Oh my gosh.
What do you guys think of The Farmer's Daughters as a title for a porno? That's pretty funny, right?
Is that where he was going? No.
And like the dialogue's so cheesy and terrible. It's like so porn.
It is so current porn, or I guess anywhere along the spectrum. But yeah, it's very.
But I love her saying.
Although Brittany Snow, which by the way, I was so shocked that she was in the movie.
Yeah, she's great in it.
She
How about
can't
Kid
help,
Cudi
man.
just showing up in it too.
Yeah, well, and like she can't help but be a decent actress. So like even her scenes within this movie that they're making, she came across pretty. Like I was like, okay.
My favorite is when he goes into when they shoot Maxine's scene in the barn, and he says, she didn't tell me about you. She never tells anybody because she's jealous of me. I'm younger and newer, and she just walks with the milk, and you're just like, God, it's like so weird, so funny. But so yeah, what do you guys think of the characters? Since we kind of mentioned them, we have Mia Goth as Maxine, our lead, so to speak.
Yep.
And what do you guys think of her? I think she's a pretty interesting character.
Yeah, super interesting.
Especially at the end when you get the reveal. You're like, oh, okay. That old trope.
I kind of clocked that from like literally the very first scene when we see the preacher on the screen. I was
no way.
Yeah, 100%. I was like, I saw the preacher on the screen. I was like, well, that might be related to somebody. And then when she says something like, welcome home, Pearl says something about her being home or something. I was like, oh, she's related to that preacher. But I thought that she might be related to Pearl. And I thought the whole time, well, maybe these two are related. We never get that. That never happens. But
wow.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yep, I didn't
Well,
see it
the
coming
reason
until the end.
the reason I saw it is because remember when the preacher first appears on the screen, he's talking about how they took his daughter away to the evils, and they don't show the picture the first time, but he's talking about his daughter, and I was like, just kind of filed that way in my brain. I was like, wait, I think so. I make these things.
Wow.
That's why I just kind of think that way. Sorry, I can't help it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like sometimes you can really like hone in on exactly what's going on, and just like predict something super early.
Yeah,
For me,
no,
that was just noise on the TV. Like I was not even paying any attention to it.
Well,
the
and
only reason I did is because the way it was framed.
Hmm.
Like it was important, and the sheriff kind of stands there and watches it for a second as he's walking through the mayhem. Which, by the way, this opening of this is pretty good. That we just see
it is pretty good.
an aftermath, and we don't know what it means. Right? Do you guys like that
Mhm.
opening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, like there's just carnage everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I
was
interpreted
getting-
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was getting like Texas Chainsaw kind of vibes.
Very heavily influenced by Chainsaw. This movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
very heavily influenced, purposely. I mean, it's a purposeful homage to that movie. I mean, that's what kind of he was going for, I think. What were you going to say, Derek?
That opening, where the focal point of the like religious context of what was on TV, I felt like that was going to be the conflict. Was especially like once you realize that these people arrived at that farm and that what they were doing, I was like, oh, these are a bunch of religious nuts, and these people are making
Couldn't
a
be-
porno. So
Couldn't be further
no,
from the
it
truth.
couldn't be farther from
Yeah,
the truth. You're
yeah.
100% correct. But like when you're walking through the movie, I was like, that's got to be like the conflict is they don't agree with what they're doing, and but nope.
Yeah, the characterizations. What I like about Maxine is she's like just has thrown her old past out the window, and she's like, I'm gonna be a star. I'm gonna be what I
Mhm.
need to be, and she's also a very flawed protagonist. She is a coke fiend. So she's doing coke all the time, but she's also super confident in who she is and her body, which is
Mhm.
kind of what I think this movie's about, right? Is losing that with age and like wanting that and coveting that, I guess. But when we first are introduced to and like we said, Brittany Snow is really good in this. She's really funny. Jenna Ortega is really good in this. She has a terrific scream. Her scream's great, and her character's interesting too because she's like the wet behind the ears, innocent, as Wayne calls her, church mouse.
Mhm.
And she's just like the innocent one who decides she sees it and she's like, you know what? I'm also down to fuck. Let's get this going.
Oh my gosh,
DTF.
man! Every scene where she is like holding the boom mic and like watching this go, she's just like, man, I want to try that.
Yeah. That looks like fun.
And she does.
She does.
And I would,
Yep.
which is, I love when she like brings it up. She was like, I want to be in the movie, and her boyfriend's like, no, you're not. What are you talking about? And then him like crying, which I'm not gonna lie, like that would break my heart too. I'm not gonna lie, it would.
This whole thing was my favorite, probably my favorite scene, like my favorite scenes of the movie was just those two having that conflict was like, I don't know, it was heartbreaking, honestly. And I really felt that like they should have had a conversation about it, but he didn't know how to like get it across what he meant to say,
Yeah.
And it just came out like controlling.
Because not only did it come out controlling, it came out hypocritical.
Mm-hmm.
It was flat out hypocritical because he said, "Hey, we got to start somewhere." And what are you? When did you become such a prude? So then when she's like, I want to be in a scene, he's like, what? No, you can't. And she's like, when did you become such a prude? And he also is like pulling some bullshit. Like, well, I already started filming, so we can't do that. I was like, guy, you already told her that you're filming out of sequence. So we know that's not true. And
oh yeah,
speaking as a filmmaker myself, I've added fucking plenty of scenes that were supposed to be in the movie. Whole sequences that I just think of.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was his ploy to create an excuse that
Well,
was
it
strong
was.
enough
Yeah.
to like say no.
Yeah.
But
it was a transparent one. It was a transparent one.
yeah, and he did not take it well. I mean, he was like,
No.
he cried in the shower, and then
Well,
he
I mean,
was like, "I'm gonna
to
leave
be
you
fair,
bastards here."
to be fair for him, old Jackson is he's slinging, bro. Like you see him in the
Dude,
shadow, and you just...
no, not oh, like in the front door when
Yeah.
Howard comes up there, and you're just
Yeah.
like looking at the shadow, and then you realize that's
Yeah, he's
not a
slinging.
towel he has that's hanging all the way down. You're just like, Jesus,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
come on.
How's poor RJ going to compete with that?
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. You know what is one of my favorite scenes in this movie? I just in case we miss it, dude. That scene in the pond, where they're shooting the first sex scene with Brittany.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just about to bring it up. Yeah. No,
Okay.
because that's what I was about to talk about. Is that while all of this is going on,
scene.
we're just originally introduced to the Howard, the old man, and we don't really get a good look at him at first, but we know he's a weird creepo. Just immediately from jump, we know he's a weird creepo, and we don't really see his wife. And then, Derek, that scene you were talking about, where she decides to go skinny dip in the pond, and we don't know what it is. We just see a figure, an older figure, and at first you think it's maybe the husband.
I thought it was his son or something that was creeping out. You were 100% right. It gave me Texas Chainsaw vibes.
Mm-hmm. And you see like the creep
there's
ass.
a whole family of them, possibly.
Yeah, and you just see him watching her in the pond, and then the alligator. Derek, you're muted, buddy.
I just muted it to clear my throat, and then I spoke. So this was great, man. This was suspense to the nth degree. I remember like really being on my getting that feeling in your stomach, that nervous feeling.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
And I love the callback later, but this was just set up so well. And I love the aerial shot where you've got her swimming to the dock and the gator slowly.
Yeah, that's
the
gator slowly. Like, yeah, that's good. And the fact that she's completely oblivious to it, and we're afraid that once she gets up there, that figure's going to be right there, but it's not. So she gets up, and you're like, and it doesn't get her foot, and the figure's not there. She just gets up and is walking down the way, and then runs into the. That's when we meet Pearl, and she's like on the porch. Come here. First of all, I would have said, "I'm good."
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes in here I was like,
oh yeah, but I would be like, I'm good. Weird woman, I'm good. But man, that scene with them inside the house when she's showing pictures of her and stuff, and you're like, oh, she looks a lot like Maxine. I mean, it's because in real life, Mia Goth plays Pearl as well under heavy prosthetics, so it's like interesting. But when she freaking touches her side, and she's like, what are you doing? You're just like, it's so awkward. You're like, oh, I don't like this. It's so awkward. It's so cringeworthy.
She was an old sex fiend.
Yes. And then when she says something to her husband, he's like, I can't. My heart will give out. And then he walks off. I'm like, what is going on? What the fuck?
Yes, dude. This is when I'm starting to feel sorry for them too. I don't know if you guys felt sympathetic towards them at all.
In the beginning,
I did,
for sure.
At the beginning, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And then she turns into a crazy old bitch, and then I'm like, yeah, you gotta go. Dude,
stabs old waterfalls in the neck.
Yeah, what do you guys think of his death? Old RJ's death.
Oh my gosh,
really good.
This is probably my favorite death scene.
I think it's the coolest.
Yeah, it was shocking and disturbing and tragic. It's really sad because I was already really sad for him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the like the way the blood splatters on the headlights, so we get like
Yeah.
the red glow,
Yeah.
and she's like doing that weird like dance after she
She
stabs him
like pretty
400
much
times.
decapitates him too.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, he's decapitated.
Gross.
And
Crazy.
then Wayne's the next to get it. Which, by the way, just walking around in his underwear, I fucking cracks me up.
I mean,
Wayne,
if
Wayne,
I'm 45 and I look that good, maybe I walk around in my underwear too. But
yeah. I mean, Wayne's a very interesting character because he could have easily just been a one-dimensional sleaze, but
For
instead
sure.
he's not. He's
No.
actually like
Yeah.
a pretty caring guy. Like,
Yeah.
yes, he's he runs a strip club, and yes, he's wanting to get rich scheme and stuff. But he legitimately like watches after this girl. Like when she says,
Yeah.
"Will you help me find him?" He doesn't just be like, whatever. He's like, yeah, come on, let's go find him. Like, I think that's an
Why you don't
interesting
put on at least
dichotomy.
shoes is
Yeah,
beyond me, or
I don't know, but
pants, or
that makes me
shirt,
laugh
or
for
whatever.
sure. But what do you guys think of Wayne?
Can I be 100% honest?
Mhm.
Until I looked up the IMDb page, I was like, man,
He looks familiar.
is that I thought it was not Owen Wilson. I thought it was Luke Wilson for just a little bit. I was like,
he kind of does have a little bit
looks
of
like
Luke
a
Wilson to him.
grizzled Luke Wilson,
He
yeah,
sounds
who
like
gained some
Matthew
muscle.
McConaughey.
Yeah, I think with the twang, but
he's the ex-husband in The Ring.
Yep.
That's who he is. He plays the ex-husband in The Ring.
Oh, he does. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
nice.
Isn't that crazy? It took me a while to figure it out, but I did. I was like, oh, I know where I know that face.
Yeah. Yep. No, you're right on the Luke Wilson thing too. Like, there's certain at the beginning, you're like, maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
but I think he's a great character. I really liked Wayne.
I do too.
I did too.
And you're right. He is more complex than just what he could be, which is probably a testament to the writing of the script and also the actor. So kudos to them.
And that's what they kind of like the other points of this movie is like people in this field aren't like just bad sleazy people. Like they love each other and they all care about each other and stuff. Like
and
don't
that's
judge people so harshly. Where the guy was like, no, she's different. She's a good girl. And he's like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah. And what's great is that whole scene. Yeah, that whole scene when he says, when she's like, do you not believe in love? And she goes, of course we believe in love. Who you love and who you fuck are two different things. You can have sex with anybody, but you love who you choose to love. Yeah. And it's just like a different point of view. And I was like, and she goes, I don't know if I agree with all that, but I liked what I saw today.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess
so what do you guys?
Fuck.
Yep. DTF. And old Jackson wasn't going to, I mean, it's Jenna Ortega. He was like, all right.
Dude, the funniest scene in this entire movie to me is when
Wayne.
So yeah, Wayne and the director, which are probably
RJ.
the same person, RJ, are out in the scene. He's like, "Man, this is so great. Feel my dick. Feel how hard I am right now." I'm like,
yeah, that is really funny. That's really funny.
And then he grabs it.
He's like, stood there. Yeah,
it's so funny.
I was like, I don't know where this is gonna lead, but maybe that'll be a scene in the movie too.
That was really funny. Feel how hard I am right now. He's like, and they just stand there for like fucking 20 seconds. So funny. What do you guys think of Wayne's death? I think it's so-so.
It was alright.
It is. The setup was really interesting.
The setup was better than the actual kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kill I think is kind of weak sauce, kind of stock, right? Kind of a stock kill.
Yeah.
Executed all right.
Since I didn't see Pearl, does she use a pitchfork in that movie? Oh, you haven't? That's probably the next movie I'm watching because I'm like, now I'm invested.
Yeah, I've not seen it yet. But yeah, his is okay. I mean, the eyeball on the ground's really cool when he
Yeah.
After she pulls it out and stuff. And then the other two, let's talk about Bobby's kill, which is Brittany Snow. Bobby Lynn.
Circled back.
Hers is great, but because we have to, in order to get there though, we have to talk about Jackson's death with the old man. And the old man fought in World Wars I and II because he's older than fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jackson is a Vietnam veteran. So he goes out to help the old man find Pearl because she's missing. And at this point, before he locks Jenna Ortega's character, what's her character's name again?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. Yeah, before he locks Lorraine in the basement, you kind of aren't sure how much he knows. Like, when he's like, "Have you seen my wife? She's not well." You're wondering, does she murder people and he tries to keep her from murdering people? Yeah, you're not sure. And then when she's locked in the basement, there's still a little bit of, until she finds the body, there's still a little bit of gray area. Did he lock her in the basement to keep her safe? But then once he finds or once he kills Jackson in the marsh, which is,
there's no going back.
Which is one I saw. I mean, I saw that coming from a mile away. How about you guys?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure like what was going to happen there, just because alligator thing. I was like, oh well, maybe he's going to get eaten by the alligator out there in the water.
Because it showed the alligator for a moment, and I was like, okay, this is where it's going to circle back.
Yeah.
No.
I wasn't sure. I thought he was going to shoot him, just for the simple fact that when he saw the flashlight and he just was laying there, then when we found him, and he's like, once a vet, always a vet. I was like, oh, he's 100% going to shoot him. Like, that's just wouldn't make the most sense. Especially when he talked about how he's had enough farmers waving guns at him. And this farmer shoots him with a shotgun. And just a quick, he's dead. His death's kind of whatever. And then, but freaking the scene where Maxine's laying in bed and Pearl gets naked and lays beside her, it's fucked up, guys. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Eesh.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one aspect of that that's kind of messed up. Well, I guess there's two. Then she's like essentially rubbing blood all over this.
Yeah, I mean, it's all of it. Yeah. She gets naked and she ogles her, and then she rubs against her will, non-consensually, while she's asleep. Derek, all of that is bad. I don't think I have to tell you this.
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying I've seen movies start that way. Obviously, then she would consent to the forward progress, but yeah, I mean, it was wrong.
You know what I was kind of thinking? I kind of had the thought that like it might be a skeleton key situation.
I thought that for a second too.
Yeah.
I did.
I'm
like
glad
it crossed
it
my
didn't
mind.
take that.
I am too. It would have been terrible.
Yeah.
But I was 100% thinking that. I was like, is she trying to like swap bodies with her? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that what this is about? I'm not sure. And then once it got to that when she got in bed with her, that's when I was like, is that what's about to happen? Then when she just wakes up and sees her, and like, can you imagine you wake up and there's just this old fucking bitch face to face with you naked?
No.
Nope. No.
Whoa. And so she screams and she's like, ah! Dude. She nopes out of there as fast as she can, waddles out. And when Bobby Lynn comes in and she just walks in front of her, ah!
Did I ever tell you the story about the morning that Clark came into our room at like 4:00 in the morning and lay down on the floor, and I heard a noise? I like peek over the bed and he's like, "Hi, Dad!" And I'm like,
"Oh
God,
damn. That would have been terrifying. What are you doing down there?" That's hilarious.
I did that to my mom once when I was little too. I remember she scared
like a rite
me.
of passage.
Yeah.
For parents.
Mm-hmm.
You got me.
Guys, Pearl's makeup. What do you guys think of Pearl's look?
I think it's great.
Dang, that's good age makeup.
Yeah.
There is a point when they're in the bed where she looks like Gary Oldman's Dracula.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
She's pretty crepey.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's very creepy. Very gross.
No, crepey.
Crepey. She likes to eat crepes.
Your
She's a
crepe
big
made my
she's a big
friend ill.
That's what would happen if Christopher Walken would have been there, Derek. Yeah, so the swamp kill.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
It's great.
The gator.
Yeah.
Gator.
Bites her right in the head.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
pretty awesome.
100%. You know what's coming. You know she's gonna get eaten
Now
by
you
a
do,
gator.
Yeah.
because you've already had the
You set up
like psych out,
Yep.
yeah.
and then the psych out.
And you just
It's like-
knew that he was, which
It had to pay off.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, you had to. If you didn't, you were just not a great filmmaker. But he did.
Little bit of
You paid it
a
off.
Lake Placid moment.
Well, and dude,
Yeah,
she was
kinda.
being so nice. She was like, "Oh, my nan,
Yeah.
I know how to deal with these things." I love her accent, Bobby Lynn. You little minx, you. Anyway, and she's like, let me help you back. And she's like, "I don't need no help." And she's like, "Bitch."
Yeah, start calling her a
And-
whore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Saying you just flaunt it in front of people like me, and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And
Yeah,
so
you
me,
crazy lady.
she's like, "Just get out of my way." I wouldn't have just been like, "Just get out of my way." I would have fucking shoved her down and just kept walking. Get
Yeah.
out of here, you fucking creep.
Yeah, I would have walked
I'd have made
past
her
for
the
sure.
gator bait instead of
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. So yeah, she gets eaten by a gator. It's a good kill. And then
Death roll.
we get the most disturbing scene of the movie, guys, in my opinion, when they arrive in the bedroom and they decide to fuck on the bed when Maxine's underneath of it.
Oh my
Guys.
gosh. I'm so mixed. I'm so mixed. Because I'm like, man, she's finally getting what she wanted.
I'm not mixed at
It
all. It's
caused
fucking
all this
disturbing.
mayhem, and it was disturbing.
Derek was,
I
like,
mean, at
kinda
that
turned
point,
on,
we've
but-
seen it all. Yeah, but then the aerial shot where you're seeing his old wrinkly ass pounding
Derek's like,
away,
I
and you're
really
just like,
wanna-
God.
That was gross, guys.
So bad. So
I mean,
bad.
it
'Cause
wasn't.
she's like,
In a different context, it could have been like, but no, I mean,
It was like not sweet. Not
no,
sweet.
it wasn't sweet.
Not-
It's
not
fucked
for-
up.
no, not for like the setting that it's in, but
I mean, if you
Seems
got
like
a thing for
you had
old
to
people
dust the
fucking, Derek,
cobwebs
we're not going to judge.
huh?
So
No,
we're gonna take
no,
your
no.
your geriatric fucking. He's got
No,
a geriatric
none of
kink
that.
over here.
That's not. I'm trying to find the beauty in it, guys.
Yeah. I thought
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
gonna have a
Put
heart
the-
attack for sure.
put-
I was like,
which-
It was
oh my gosh.
Because he keeps saying it, and then I love the fact that, and we'll get there just here in a second, but I love his ending because I'm like,
yeah, perfect. Yeah, but it was there to be disturbing. I mean, it's fucked up. They just murdered a bunch of people,
Totally was.
and then he's like, "Don't you want me?" And you see like her old gross,
Dude.
boobies. And
I mean,
They-
he doesn't have many
Ah.
options.
They look
I
so
can't. My heart.
so old and gross. It's so I've never seen anything like it.
this is like on the level of those two cats fucking on Sleepwalkers.
Or like
I
the
just got the
visit.
mental picture. And
Or
you're
the
right.
visit.
The
Yeah.
visit with the diaper.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So
It's like
yeah,
just
that's disturbing.
felt-
So yeah,
I felt bad. But it was really gross.
so Lorraine finds a body in the cellar,
Yeah.
and we see earlier in the movie when Jackson takes a drink of milk, we see his the face of a missing person on the carton, which is the guy that's in the basement.
Oh, dang it, I didn't put that together.
Didn't catch that.
I
Yep.
saw it and I thought about it and then I did not even put that together. I'm gonna have to tell Jake that.
And so so basically what we're gathering here like what we could piece together from what we know is that they take people in, and then she like takes her sexual gratification from them, and then they murder them,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is really fucked up.
Yeah,
It
it is.
it's kind of it's a role reversal of what you would normally get in a movie like this, but
Yeah, from an old lady. Like that's such a role reversal. Usually it's like men in that
creepy old
position
man.
in these horror movies.
Well, and they're whenever they are looking for Pearl in the swamp, old boy sees a VW bug that's in the water.
Very,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
So they've been, burying. They at least have one vehicle that they pushed in there.
yeah,
So Lorraine just freaks out at the end, guys. Like she blames Maxine for this for some reason, which doesn't make any sense. I think she's just
she
hysterical,
convinced her to go. Yeah, she's just
but
hysterical.
yeah, there's no reason because it doesn't make any sense at all for her to be mad at her. She didn't say, "Hey, you need to come along with this." RJ's like, "We got to make a movie." But her death comes like, what'd you guys think of her death? Out of nowhere.
It was surprising.
Yeah,
Also
disturbing.
really cool though, because she's just like running out of the house.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah, and then he dies immediately after when she has a death rattle when he's
That's what
dragging
I'm
her
saying.
in.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
dragging her in, and she
that-
goes, "Oh," and he has a heart attack and dies.
How did
Yeah.
you
It's
guys
like, at
react to
least
that
you got-
when you were watching
At
it?
least you got one more in there,
Yeah,
buddy.
you got it. You got it. No, I laughed. I was like,
I did
Serves
too.
you
I
right, you
rewound
son
it
of a
to
bitch.
laugh because I was like,
I went.
Yeah.
Jake actually got really mad because I went, "Aw."
"Why? Why is
Well, I was
that the
like-
moment that you went, aw?"
I don't know. I was just like sympathizing so much with these old people. And I was like, I
I
think it's
wasn't.
because I've been having so many thoughts about like getting older, and it's just been like kind of on my mind a lot lately.
Every
No.
day I look in the
Aw.
mirror and I'm like, oh, that gray hair, it's growing.
Yeah. It's like
Not me.
it's a real thing. It's a fear that like a lot of people deal with,
Yeah,
Lydia?
I laughed. I
Wait.
laughed hard.
How old are you? I
I'm
forget.
31.
You're 31. Okay. I remember being 25. This is not a joke. I remember being 25 and I was still in college, and I was home working at Pizza Quick, and I remember sitting in the back room like, man, I'm 25. Huh. I'm at least a quarter of the way dead. And now
Well,
I'm even
interesting.
closer.
I had like right before I watched this movie, I went to the grocery store and I had
Yeah.
this experience where this 21-year-old kid that went to my school was talking, and I was listening to him, and I was like, I made a comment like, "Oh yeah, I'm like 10 years older than you." We went to the same school together, and we don't, like so much has changed that I probably don't know anyone at that school anymore. Kind of a thing. And I was just like, he just looked at me like, cool, and I was like, dang it, I am so
Old person
old.
alert. Hey, this
Hey.
old lady at the store, Dad, she was... I'm kidding, Lydia.
I was like, do you know, I just wanted to like grab him and be like, do you know how much is going to happen to you in the next 10 years of your life?
Were you
Because
gonna
so
pull?
much has
Were you
happened
gonna
to
Billy
me.
Madison him? Were you gonna Billy Madison? Stay here. Stay as long as you can.
Yes, exactly.
No, this year I get to celebrate my 20th high school reunion, so don't want to hear it. You're fine.
Yeah. Dude, it's real.
But no,
it's a
I
real
felt
thing.
no sympathy. Felt no sympathy for old fuck boy.
I
he
just am
deserved
afraid
his
of
heart
heart
attack.
attacks, I think.
Yeah.
I
And I
did
was like,
rewind
"Aw."
that and watch
Laugh
it
as
again.
well.
'Cause, like,
Yeah.
Jake got really
And
mad
then-
at me for saying that. He was like, what? What do you mean, aw?
Yeah. He's a
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah, Jake was
like
like,
how
Of course
I'm
he is.
waiting for that guy to die.
Yeah. And I knew he was going to die of a heart attack. I just didn't know how yet.
Yeah.
Because he'd been talking about it the whole movie. I was like, he has to die of a heart. I mean, what would have been funny is if he thinks he's like, oh, I'm fine, and he got his face blown off. That'd have been funny
Yeah.
too, but they paid it off the heart attack. But
Yeah.
when she freaking grabs, when Maxine basically tells her to fuck off and has the gun pointed at her, and she finally just decides, I'm gonna fucking end you, and it's empty. which I knew the gun was empty from earlier in the movie. Do you guys remember?
Yes.
When he when he said he had that line.
Yeah,
He's just keep it here. It's not loaded. Yeah, I got one in my car too.
Yep, I got one just like that in my glove compartment, and I was like, that fucking gun's not loaded. When she grabbed it, I was like, that gun's not loaded, and it wasn't.
Yep.
And I love that she tries to shoot that shotgun and fucking flies back out. That cracked me up. I was like,
me too. Oh man, it was good.
Yeah, and then her death is so satisfying. She's like, just continues to say her shit. Maxine says a couple of one-liners to her.
My hip, help me.
Yeah.
You whore.
She's just like, we'll keep this between us.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's like, I know who you are, and she does the same thing that she did to her earlier. And then just runs her fucking head over and watches it
like
explode
a melon,
under.
Dude.
What'd you guys think of that? It's a good one.
I mean, it was good, but goodness.
It was one of those like you want that to happen in like most
cathartic,
movies.
yeah.
You're like, run him over, and you finally get it.
Yeah.
And you're like, yes.
Yeah, it's cathartic. Yeah, and it's like, well, she's not coming back.
Right.
No,
yeah.
one last scare for her.
Nope.
Her
Zero
head is
chance of
gone.
that one. Yep.
Her head is gone. And then, what do you guys think of the actual end of the movie?
I think it was
So Maxine's off.
pretty cool.
She just does another line of coke and keeps driving.
Gotta stay awake now. You've been up all night.
Yeah. Then you get the sheriff scene. What do you guys think of the sheriff's ending? He has to come back in Maxine, I'm guessing. He's have a bigger role in Maxine.
Going through the house and the TV is still on.
Yeah, and you get that reveal. So this is where everybody else figured out that he was or she was the preacher's daughter, and showed a young picture of her and how she was corrupted, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then they find that camera, and they're like, what do you think's on it? And he says, what's he say?
A fucked up horror movie.
One hell of a horror movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
I love the moments like that too, when they say like the horror movie, and then they kind of like reference that too, about like, well, when the movie changes halfway through, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what this movie's about to do.
Yep. Turned into a horror movie, and then I
thought it was really appropriate. I liked it.
Yeah, and he kind of like it's almost like a wink to the camera, and then we get like then we get the X rating logo, and the credits are 4:3, like they would be in like a cheap ass fucking 16mm camera. Somebody's shooting in Super 16. So guys, that's X. Is there anything we missed? Anything else you guys want to talk about? The music's pretty good. It has some good soundtrack. Needle drops. When she sings Landslide, I was like, how fucking great is Landslide, right?
So good.
Like, what a fucking phenomenal song.
Yeah.
Because it started, and Sarah loves, Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac. And it started, I was like, oh, babe, here's your song. And she's singing it, and I'm like singing along with it. Children get older. I was like, these fucking lyrics hit. This song hits. This is such a fucking great song. Damn, Stevie. And then at the end, it plays, Bad Case of Loving You. Doctor, doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you. That's good stuff. Love it.
And Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Don't Fear the Reaper is
where they the first kill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Fear the Reaper is kind of an overused 70s one at this point. I feel like every movie if you want a shorthand for it's the 70s, you play Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still fine. It's still good.
It's a great song.
You know what? The first movie to do that is John Carpenter's Halloween in 1970. So the song had been out for like a year. And he's just like, this song's pretty cool. Just put it in here. It wasn't even like a shorthand. It just was a contemporary song. I'm like, all right.
That's definitely why everybody uses it, I'm sure.
It's a great song. It really is. It's a great song. So that's X, guys. What do you guys think? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, do it.
So I love watching a a good movie for the first time, because every moment is new and fresh, and you're taking it in, and because those moments won't work the same way the next time that I watch this movie. Like the alligator scene, super suspenseful. There were a couple of those in this movie, and I really appreciated those, because I feel like in a horror movie, if you can add that and it conjures up that feeling in your stomach, you're just like bringing it from here up to here. So I was very impressed with this movie. I thought the cast was really great. I thought the story was really well. It was well rounded too, right? There was callbacks to all the little Easter eggs that they set up, and it's appreciated when they do that. So I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8. I liked it a lot.
What do you think, Lydia?
Yeah, I didn't think it was super scary, but I did
No.
find it gory and disturbing and shocking and fun. Suspenseful. So, I would definitely recommend this movie to anyone. Like, well, maybe not anyone, but
Maybe not children.
or like grandmothers or
Mark,
something,
for watching this weekend.
But yeah, I think it made me think, and I like that it was pretty creative. It wasn't like super tropey. So yeah, I think I'll give it an 8 as well.
Yeah, I again didn't know what to expect from this, except for my past experience with Ty West's movies. I've liked I've liked a lot of his movies. We've got to do House of the Devil, because I think that, I don't, if either of you have not seen that, it would be a cool one to watch. But yeah, it's a Ty West joint for sure. I think the direction is superb in it. I think the characters are well rounded and good, and it definitely feels like Ty West's movies. And I like the style, and the performances, and the story is good. My one complaint with the movie is I think it's a little long. I think that you need that stuff in the front half to make the back half as impactful, but there might have been ways to trim some of it back just a little, because it's almost 2 hours long, so it's not like a short movie. I think the actual runtime is so it's not too long. It's an hour 6, so over an hour and a half. But I don't think it necessarily drags. I just think that the pacing's a little more weighted in the front, and then it kind of picks up at the back end. But that's my only complaint with it. I'm going to give it an 8 as well. I liked it a lot. So yeah, it's a good one. Glad we picked it. Who was the genius that picked this movie? It was me. This guy.
Glad you picked it, Jamie.
Oh.
So now, guys, it's time to Atkinize X.
Thrill me.
Who Tom Atkins play, and why would he be the best Wayne possible?
Yeah.
I don't know. Would he be a good Wayne? He would be a great Wayne.
Yeah, he'd be a great Wayne. I think we cast it.
Agree.
Wayne. Yep. That was an easy one. We didn't have to think of that one at all. Easy. So, whose turn is it to pick?
I think it's mine.
Mm-hmm. Do not ask me to pick another number.
Pick a number. Nope.
Jamie's gonna have to do that.
I got it already planned, guys.
Okay. What are we watching next week?
Next week, we are going to be watching The Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Getting to Oscar season. We might as well hit it up. I know why I turned into Christopher Walken there. Oscar season.
Because I did it earlier.
Yeah, maybe. Let's hit it up. All right. Where can we find Silence of the Lambs?
I do not know. Hopefully somewhere.
You can find Silence of the Lambs on AMC Plus, Philo, YouTube, Sling TV, Amazon Prime, Vudu, Google Play, Apple TV, and YouTube TV. So it's available to find. It is the Jonathan Demme, Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster starring Oscar-winning classic. So that should be a lot of fun to get into. Sarah will watch that one with me. She likes Silence of the Lambs a lot.
Really?
She actually watched most of this one with me too, but she went to bed a little early. Like around, I think she went to bed. I think before they started old people fucking. I think she was in bed.
Oh, that's
But-
Thank
good.
God.
That's a good
Yeah,
spot.
but she watched the scene where she was like naked, like and stuff. So she saw all that, and she was like, "I'm going to bed." And I was like, "Okay." And then she texts me today. I'm at work. She texts me and asks me some stuff about like, what are we doing for, I don't know, dinner? You know what I mean, that kind of stuff. And she told me she returned the part and for her car and wants to do it. And then out of nowhere she says, "So was that old lady on the movie last night just crazy, or did she have some kind of story?" And I explained to her, well, she's crazy, but she missed, there's a prequel that sorts it out more that we don't know all of it, but basically she just misses her youth and she's nuts. And she goes, "So does her husband just think she's like has Alzheimer's or something? And did she like kill people when she was younger?" I said, "I think she did." And then I told him about they kidnap people and she assaults them and then they murder them. And she was like, "Weird. I just couldn't stop thinking about it." Like that other one we watched with the old people, which she's talking about The Visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "Old people freak you out." She goes, "Just scary ones."
Just scary ones. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But I love that she just went to bed and everything. And then all day she was at work, but like, what the fuck was the deal with that old lady? You text me while I'm at work. "So what's going on with that old lady?"
Did you tell her about that scene?
No, I have not told her about that scene yet, but I should just pop it in there. So here's what's funny is I told Sarah, I was like, "Yeah, we got to put Connor to bed because I've got to watch X." And she's like, "Oh, what? You?" Because if we're watching just like a regular horror movie, he's a baby. He's too young to even know what's going on. But I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, I mean, this one seems a little more graphic. I don't want him to even be in the room."
Right.
And then it started, and there was, regular sex, which is, it's fine, especially when you have Brittany Snow being gorgeous and Mia Goth being gorgeous. I'm like, this is my kind of jam, this movie. And then you get naked old people and old people screwing, and I was like, glad Connor was in bed for this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Derek, do you have a story for us tonight?
I mean,
You have
I
a story
told a
about
couple
like
of
your
stories.
your grandparents doing it
Do
or something?
not. No. I mean, I've already told my scarring memory
We
I
kn-
have of my
Yeah,
grandma.
your grandma. You have a Pearl story yourself, except instead of murder, it's shit fiend.
You know what? I still loved my grandma after that. That's what showers are for.
That's good. That's good.
Oh my! So I've got a.
Man. Go ahead.
Let's see. I'm trying to think if I have a story. If you don't, I've got a story to tell you guys off camera, which is great. A couple of them. But yeah, Derek, do you got one or no?
I told a couple of stories. I don't have one specific to this.
You got a story, Lydia? Nope. You didn't have any oversexed grandparents either.
No, not really. No.
Oh my god, good. I mean, hey, if they're still slinging, let them sling. But I'm just saying.
I mean, my grandparents did have a lot of children, so I'm sure it was going on, but I try not to think about it too much, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, my dad's parents, when my dad was born, my grandpa was 50.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were pearling it up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Derek's face.
I wonder
All
how
right,
old they
that'll-
were. They were like 100.
Oh, they have to
They
be.
were like
yeah.
disintegrating.
Yeah, they were like
were
death
pretty
becomes
close.
her.
They were rotting
know?
on the bone right there.
They were so gross looking. Oh, God.
They're like they're like Grandpa from Texas Chainsaw. I think that was
Yeah.
the inspiration.
Ooh.
Probably the
He was
inspiration.
dusty.
Yeah, definitely Dusty.
Mhm.
Can't even lift the hammer. And that'll do it for tonight. That's this week's episodes. Be sure to comment down below your favorite scene in X, if you've seen it, and tell us what scares you. Old people fucking. Let me know. You can follow us online. Let us know what movies you really want to see us do, because we'll watch and react to any horror movie.
Star Wars.
Except for,
if you guys want to see
well,
that.
if you want us to talk about Star Wars for 25 minutes each episode, just comment down below and we'll do it. We'll have a segment called Star Whoring, where we just talk about Star Wars.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that idea.
I like Star Wars. You can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow Derek at DDogmaster, Lydia at Lydia Spooky, and me at Racket. Follow us on Instagram at Screenplay Movies, and you can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. We are about 2 months away from shooting the opening scene to the movie. It has been cast. The locations have been secured. We have crew. Obviously, the script is written. So we are 2 months out from shooting the opening scene. And we'll be getting that put together, creating a sizzle reel to raise money to complete this feature film for you guys. So we'll keep you posted on that. If there's nothing else, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, guys, if you're going to scream bloody movies.